On a blazing summer afternoon, many gardeners make a well-intentioned move. They reach for the mulch, eager to shield their plants from the scorching sun. After all, mulch is supposed to protect, right? It keeps moisture in, keeps weeds out, and helps regulate temperature. But here's the dirty truth. If you apply mulch wrong, especially during a heat wave, you could be doing the exact opposite. You could be cooking your plant roots alive. It's an issue few people talk about, yet the signs are everywhere. Plants wilting even though they're mulched, leaves turning crispy at the edges, soil beneath the mulch dry as dust, gardeners watering and wondering why nothing's improving. The culprit? Heat-trapping mulch applied to dry soil. When you lay mulch over bone-dry earth without properly watering first, you seal in that dryness and turn your mulch layer into an oven lid. In this guide, we're going to talk about why this happens, how it damages your plants, and exactly what to do instead. The fix is surprisingly simple, and once you understand it, your mulch will actually work with your plants, not against them. Let's begin with what's really going on when the sun hits your garden. On hot days, the surface of the soil heats up quickly, especially in bare patches. When you add a layer of mulch, whether it's straw, wood chips, shredded leaves, or bark, on top of already hot dry soil, the mulch acts like a thick blanket. But instead of trapping moisture and cooling the roots, it locks in the heat that's already there. And if the soil underneath hasn't been watered, there's no moisture buffer to moderate that rising temperature. It's a heat trap. Worse still, mulch itself can absorb and hold solar heat. If it's dry and dense, it may begin to radiate that heat downward. This becomes especially dangerous when the mulch is applied in a thick, heavy layer. The roots below, already gasping for water, start to suffer from both dehydration and excess heat. In some cases, especially in shallow-rooted plants, the damage is visible within just a few days. This is why pre-watering before mulching isn't just helpful, it's absolutely essential. When you water the soil thoroughly before applying mulch, you do two critical things. First, you lower the temperature of the soil surface, creating a cooler environment before any insulation is added. Second, you saturate the soil profile so roots have immediate access to the moisture they need, even if the mulch slows future water penetration slightly. Pre-watering creates a buffer zone. The moist soil resists temperature spikes, protects root hairs, and helps microbial life stay active. Once the mulch is added on top, it then does what it's supposed to: trap that moisture in, prevent evaporation, and shade the soil against further heat. But that only works if the soil is hydrated first. Alright, let's talk about how to do this the right way. Start by watering deeply. Don't just miss the surface, okay? Use a hose or watering can to soak the area where you plan to mulch until the moisture reaches at least 4 to 6 inches deep. If you're not sure, use your finger or a soil probe to check. The soil should feel cool and damp all the way down. Once the soil is thoroughly moistened, then and only then should you bring in the mulch. Spread it evenly around your plants, keeping it a few inches away from the base of stems or trunks to avoid rot. A layer that's 2 to 3 inches thick is usually ideal, enough to insulate and smother weeds, but not so much that it smothers the soil itself. Remember, mulching too thick can also prevent airflow and create anaerobic conditions underneath, which harm root systems in the long run. Over the next few days, keep an eye on the moisture levels under your mulch. Don't assume the mulch guarantees hydration. Dig in with your hand and check. If the soil starts to dry out, water through the mulch, or pull it back and water directly before replacing it. The goal is to maintain a consistent, moist and cool environment under that protective layer, not a sealed-off desert. There's another bonus to this method. When soil is properly moistened before mulching, the microbial and worm activity underneath increases dramatically. You see, microorganisms really thrive in warm, moist conditions. Earthworms too come closer to the surface, plus decomposition of organic matter just accelerates. All of this over time helps convert mulch material into humus, enriching the soil while feeding your plants naturally. This approach also allows mulch to act as a thermal regulator rather than a thermal trap. During the hottest parts of summer, that difference really matters. It's the reason one gardener's tomatoes thrive in mid-July, while another's look sunburnt and stunted even though both are mulched. The key isn't the mulch itself, it's how and when you apply it. So, if you've been struggling with mulched beds that somehow still seem dry, or you've noticed signs of root stress even with a thick protective layer on top, go back to the basics. Pre-watering might seem like a small step, but honestly, it's the single most important thing you can do to make mulch work the way it's meant to. At Hydrohaven, we're not just mulching for looks, we're mulching for life, and understanding how water, heat, and soil interact is part of becoming a smarter, more resilient gardener. Small changes in how you layer your garden can lead to big improvements in plant health, harvests, and long-term soil quality. If this guide helped shift your perspective or answered a problem you've been facing, hit that subscribe button and give this video a share. Let's make sure every gardener out there stops mulching like it's spring, especially when the summer heat is on full blast. At Hydrohaven, we're all about working with nature, not against it, and helping you grow stronger, smarter, and more sustainable gardens. Stay tuned and let's keep digging deeper together.